Physicist. I'm going to talk about that today. So I had the very important task of doing a late minute task, which was finding a faculty advisor for Quantum Apex. That's my team in Duke Quantum. As we wrap up the semester, and going to the next semester, what we're really doing now is we're trying to find sponsors to sponsor our proof of concept. However, to do that, we need a faculty advisor who actually works at the university. And over the my conversation with the president of Duke Quantum, he mentioned a really cool professor, and his name was Charles Clark, Professor Charles Clark. I was like, okay, last minute we don't really have a faculty advisor. I might as well just shoot my shot. So I sent an email Sunday. He got back Sunday and said let's meet him and he'll take us to a seminar. I didn't even expect the seminar. I didn't ask for the seminar. But we met him. A couple of my teammates and I met him, and he took us to this really cool seminar presented by Junior. Really cool seminar. It's basically about nuclear clocks. So it's just meant to be a better version of an atomic clock, like a more precise version of an atomic clock. And it was the idea of how to get it done. I, to be very honest, to be very frank, I understood nothing. I remember there was a point when they said MGH, like potential gravity. I just got so excited. It's like that was the first thing I really understood. I was like, I got so invested. But I think I caught a couple words. Shoot, there was one I wanted to say. I think it was black. Or something about the neutron. It was basically there was this idea about how the thermal because the temperature affect the neutron at such a level, and something about black body something. Right, I found it really funny because it was black. I remember the professor and another professor arguing about the black, and I was like, "I'm the black guy here." I was like, "That was a really cool joke," but that's besides the point. So, really awesome to meet them. I also got to meet a Nobel laureate, William D. Phillips. So it was really cool. I think what's crazy about this, like he just kept on meeting more and more crazy people. Like for example, Charles Clark, he's a Presidential Distinguished Award awardee. Really crazy. I didn't even know that. Right. It was until I was just doing my research before meeting him. I found that. I think what was really cool beyond like just like all the distinguishments and all that was actually the way they composed themselves, and it wasn't like in a manner of like very posh. It was much more very passionate, very excited, like, and they were like all varying ages, but it was like really interesting to see like people who were like maybe like 40, 50, 60, and like they were really invested. So more like it was almost childlike in that sense, how invested they were in their topics. Like you just see them get so excited about something, like they start debating. I was like, dang, I have no idea what they're saying, but I can tell that's like something they really care about, something they're really invested in. You can tell the jokes. I was just really interested to learn more. Also just kind of forgot to say this earlier. He did have Professor Charles Clark, I think Dr. Clark, agreed to be our faculty advisor. So that was really awesome. But besides the point, because I think what was even more valuable is like seeing how they compose themselves. Um, I think it was exciting. I think, especially as I talked about the whole thing about world models and star labs, and I wanted to like get more into my own research and even this quantum research thing as well. It just gets me more excited because even though there's a lot of stuff I have to learn, it's almost daunting at times to be like, oh dang, like if I was to get in an interview right now, I'd probably bomb it. Even though that's the case, it just makes me more excited because like to see these guys still having a great time, still doing their thing, still just talking so passionately. It's like, oh, I can actually like this is something we're pursuing as well. After that, after me and the professor, he agreed to be our advisor. There was also a tea party for the graduate students hosted by Mr. I believe Dr. Ye, right? So I went to that. That was a really awesome. Didn't understand the word. I think I remember. I didn't understand the word, but it was like the black body thing. Like when someone said that, I got really invested. So I think it was a cool improvement from potential gravity to black body thing. But I understood like a couple of stuff, even I couldn't really recite it if I wanted to right now. Um, I think that was cool to see like that like improvement a bit, even though it wasn't much. I still can't like explain the concepts that were discussed. But it was also cool to see the graduate students. They were also really invested. I was like really just got like wow, this like not that like they were nerdy, but I was like dang, you guys are really invested in this. Um, but it's amazing work they're doing. It's amazing work they're doing, and it's amazing people as well. I really want to stop by more in their office just to see what's going on because they really seem like a cool group. I think even with that graduate tea party where they were just discussing ideas and talking, sometimes it'll turn into a debate or so. Um, Even with that, I was like, dang, I'd really want something like this more. So like for the CS school, 'cause I don't see much of that, and I hang out around I believe it's the fourth floor, is the ones for like master and PhD students, PhDs. I don't see much of that going on. So I would really love to see something like that and see what's like. Even though I don't know, maybe cause I said this earlier, but I think it might be a thing. I'm just not invited to that thing. It's like even with this, I felt really weird because it was a graduate thing purely, right? But then Professor Clark just said go to this thing, or he recommends I go to this thing. So I just pulled up. And I said, hey, I didn't say I work. I didn't. I really didn't want it to be a situation where I was trying to prove like, oh, how curious I am. I was like, no, you guys are discussing stuff that have merit. I don't actually have any questions as to now. I'm just trying to catch up, right? So I didn't want to waste time trying to prove something I didn't think was necessary to prove. Overall, though, just I think it was an awesome time. I think even if Professor Clark didn't even if it was a case where Professor Clark did not agree to be the faculty advisor, I still think would have been a very valuable experience. I think it's really awesome to see this type of research and see the people doing it. There's also just a bunch of stuff I learned. Even with quantum computing, quantum physics, and stuff like that. I'm planning to take the boot camp in January so I can catch up more. But then he gave me this thing to look more into. So like I asked him from now to January course that he's hosting, what can I do to better prepare myself? And he gave me this formula, which is like E to some matrix, and he said go understand that formula. And now I'm gonna go looking into it after my exams because I really need to study for my exams. Because if I can ace my exams, that makes me much happier. And when I'm happier, I get much more work done. So that's really the plan. But besides, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.